What is an e-portfolio? Why do we need one? Well, fragmentation of knowledge, disconnected theory and practice, decontextualized experiences, hegemonic assessment systems, lack of coherence between courses, opportunity to use technology to take risks, and building professional identity, all issues in education. In this video, we share the insights of students in the use of a digital e-portfolio. This study reports on a cohort of students in both elementary and secondary programs who had integrated experiences in school through a cluster of courses using a playlist to guide them through the use of the software. Located on a BC server called folioz.ca, the Mahara open source software sponsored by the New Zealand government was used to create an e-portfolio platform. So what is an e-portfolio or electronic portfolio? Well, with cloud-based technology, what is a digital e-portfolio? The cloud technology allows us to share digital artifacts from around the world. The architecture of the software allows connections to be made in the individual learner, leading to a powerful mechanism of meta thinking about your professional identity. So the Folio Z platform allows these connections to be made through a software interface that students learn to use and then combine artifacts they've learned in their courses and prior experience. So what are the key features of the Folio Z platform? Users can create their own digital profile, developing content related to like a curriculum vitae, that's their professional identity online, adding social media and other links to websites. This becomes sort of the hub of a student's professional identity. Once they've made a public profile page, they can customize this, changing the layout, moving content around, and adding different artifacts that represent their public image, their professional image they wish to share. Any type of image can be uploaded. Links can be made to other cloud-based software such as YouTube, Prezi, Google Drive, Microsoft 360. All these types of things offer sort of materials that can be built into their public page, or as students design their e-portfolio, they can actually develop pages that represents different types of ideas as they customize the look of their public page and their personal pages. The skins are shown here really allow students to make it look pretty the way they would like it to appear, and as they add pages as shown here, they build content into either a page or into a collection of pages based on a theme, developing again anything from the cloud that represents the type of ideas they wish to share with different communities. Collections allow clusters to be put together as like a sub e-portfolio. Critically in the whole process of developing an e-portfolio is once you've created these sub-portfolios or public one, you can decide who to share it with. Sharing becomes collections of either public or separate groups or friends, or send a secret URL that will expire after a period of time. All this gives students flexibility to develop a professional digital e-portfolio presence. They can also have feedback to each other, building a community around sharing content and how to represent this for different audiences. The e-portfolio therefore represents a powerful digital media tool to share your professional identity. Here are some examples of students' e-portfolios combining work from courses and from their own lives that relate to their teacher identity. As you can see, they're very personal, very visual. So how were students taught to develop an e-portfolio? Through 6 stages. 1, orientation, where they're shown how to use the platform and shared other people's examples. They submit a public page to give feedback. Then criteria is there for students to assess e-portfolio pages once they've used it a few times. They submit pages to address Ministry of Education standards, giving feedback from their peers. And finally, the 9 artifacts combined in pages and collections for an exit interview where the peer and experienced teacher walks them through the portfolio. The key thing with this is the professional experienced teacher adds a level of standard that the students then really rise up to. After doing the exit interviews, we interview students to get their insights on the process. 16 elementary and 20 secondary volunteered, and here's their insights organised into 3 areas.
There's a light bulb moment when I realized just how much of my past experience was essentially prep for teaching and how many lesson plan type things I've already done in the past that I never really thought about before until I was talking about it with someone else.
Some of it, you're like, oh wow, I know this and I can talk about this for a little bit, so it's great to sort of think outside of the box.
It's kind of an organic platform to reflect. And then it ended up being, like we talked about in the interview, like having these visual cues where you could see something and then you could be like, right, this is how that made me feel, or this is what I learned from that experience. It was really helpful.
Seeing how it's changed since I've created all these pages and included all these artifacts, it's really made like my teaching philosophy into a holistic, inclusive classroom. And it was nice to show that in my pages, to show evidence of why I want to include.
I think I always found in school that I do a test and then I just forget about it. It's one ear out the other. And I think that keeping everything and having it in one place and doing something like an interview where you have to look back over it all and really see how far you've come is really important.
I'm hereditary chief from where I come from, and it's important to know a lot of my culture and where I come from and where I stand today, and to kind of take some of that and integrate it into some of the things we're doing with First Nations principle.
It's just having them, all 3 of our portfolios laid out sort of side by side, as it were, was a really great way visually and in our discussion just to see how we had the same experiences and where they were different, and that just really helped bring together like the benefits of an interdisciplinary approach to really whatever we're talking about, or like the profundity of community and what that can do for people and what it has to offer.
She sort of threw in that it also helps you with life skills, and she started giving me a couple of examples, such as dedication, and then I kind of sort of took off with that and kept going with more things that skating has helped me and things that it can connect to teaching.
It was really great just to think back to everything we had done and put that into perspective and see where we've grown and the power that we have as teachers to do good things.
Yeah, I just see how I grow, like for the last 3 months. That's a big improvement when I just reflect on whatever I have done.
It made me feel proud. I was like showing all this stuff, and she was like, oh wow, you're doing awesome, this is really good, and I felt proud of my work and showing it to her.
I would say that my self-confidence has really grown this semester.
Cool.
Coming into the program, I wasn't sure what kind of teacher I would be, if I'd be a good teacher, but at the end of it, I'm feeling very confident that I will be a successful teacher, and really passionate about doing that and going into it, and feeling inspired from things that I've learned this semester, that I really want to take what I've learned and put it into practice.
A reflection of myself through the pages, but also just to see the enthusiasm from my interviewer, to just how excited she was to see how I developed as a teacher. That really changed me as a person and as an educator.
Holistic learning allowed these emergent light bulb moments where students made connections across diverse communities that excited them. The assessment for learning allowed students to realise the connections of how the assessment process of creating the digital e-portfolio in a community for the exit interview helped them develop the competencies of how to learn as a professional. Doing the e-portfolio, being valued by their peers and a colleague, really developed a sense of confidence in forming a teaching identity. Following this study and referring to the informed literature, we developed the 4 areas to define a digital e-portfolio. is a digital literacy tool to connect with the professional learning community. It creates a teaching space for instructors to use rich media as tools to help reflective and relational learning for students becoming professionals. It's assessment that is both summative but in a continuous formative meta-learning process. And critically, it's an interactive space that allows a two-way interaction between instructor and students, and between students, based on a commitment to the profession. The sense of networked learning community that emerges from a digital e-portfolio, celebrated in an exit interview, offers a way to nurture authentic professional learning.